So, this is your second time back to Pathfinder School. You've been here for another class. You were here for a primitive class. And like you're talking about the learning curve, I mean, you get guys to come in here on day one, look like they've never started a fire before in their life. I mean, you put them in a 5-minute fire exercise, and one person like you that's been here before or been to other training and things like that, you passed that exercise, and everyone else pretty much failed that exercise. There might have been one other guy out of 22 that passed it. But by the end of the class on day 4, or the day 3 at the night exercise for the final exam, we had 100% pass rate on a 15-minute drill to make fire, shelter, and boil 32 ounces of water after negotiating a nav course that was over a mile at night. So I think that speaks to the learning abilities of people, you know, if they really want to do it. But it also speaks to the learning curve that you were talking about, as far as, you know, you're going to be under the gun from the word go. Everything's going to be time tested. Everything's going to put you under pressure. And we always want to instill that pressure on you so that you feel like you're being stressed out, like you would be in a survival scenario where things aren't going exactly the way you want them to. So you've got to be under that pressure to understand that. And I think you're all the better for that. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it's I love the pressure. I think it's great, and as you said, with the students, pressure tested from the start. I think everyone's like gets flustered, and you know, because it's a challenge to yourself. No one wants to mess up, and because there might be a few failures, but I think you learn from your failures faster than what you learn from getting things right, and you're more determined. And as I said, that learning curve was really steep, and everyone was, I think, at the end of it, even though in that sense it's got the, let's say, the pressure of more and more advanced course in the basic, because of that pressure on the deliverables and the time deliverables. I think that's what sort of really makes it, because a lot of the other schools, all great schools, and you know, I love it. It's just a different way of they teach a lot of the same things, but just the way that it's done. Love the 10Cs, and that's great. You know, it really works well, and everything hones down to that. And I think that, you know, it's actually more like Army experience. Always, it's got that military aspect, even though it's not military, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I understand what you mean. I mean, we try to keep everything drawn down to its simplest form, you know, and I think that's what's important for people to learn quickly. You have to take away all the fluff and only give them what's important, and then concentrate on that. And one of the things that we do different here, we're not going to give you a cotton ball and a Vaseline. We're not going to give you Mini Inferno the first time we tell you to start a fire. I want you to understand what it's like to have to start a fire with what's around you and take that material from the landscape. Yeah, we'll give you a ferrocerium rod, but as you see, not everybody understands how to use a ferrocerium rod. There's certain, you know, there's aspects to it about your knife, about the rod, about the person that's operating it, that make it more doable or less doable depending on your experience level. And by how many fires you figure you started this weekend?
In excess of 15, I'd say. Probably more like up around 15 to 18.
We try to do somewhere between 15 and 20, depending on time allotments. But every day, it's fire, fire, fire. Even if we're doing shelter, even if we're doing water, everything molds into the other, and we reinforce those skills daily. And I think that helps people learn too, because the more you do it, the more repetition you get, the more muscle memory you create in what you're doing. But I really appreciate you coming over here from Oss again, and I know you're wanting to come back for another class. So
definitely, most definitely.
Well, it's too bad you can't be here in 2 weeks for the Hudson Bay Traffic class. But
well, if I could stay, I would.
I know you would, brother.
Which it wasn't so far.
Yeah, I understand, brother.